How y'all doing out there? Name's Rinford Dinkly. You can call me Rinky Dink. Pull my finger and wait for the stink. The first one was free. The rest of them's gonna cost you some stuff here. Oh man, that cabinet dirty. What's going on out there, y'all? It's Christmas time. I'm here. And I tell you what, these are hard times, y'all. Can I take a seat? My little seat here, my old man. Oh crap, even my back hurts when I sit down. I'll try to stand up and prop myself up. Yeah. Yep, hard times. How hard are they, you say? Maybe y'all said. Let me tell you, how hard are they? I've been having to eat some of that. And I used to hate that stuff too. Worse than spam, I mean. What do you call it in the box? Ramen noodles. Yeah, I've been eating ramen noodles. That's how hard times are around here. You say, what? What's that you say? I can't hardly hear and can't afford a hearing aid. This is my hearing aid. It works sometimes. Yeah, ramen noodles. Where was I? Yeah, ramen noodles. It might not be so bad. I think they're nasty the first time, but the problem is I can't even afford but one box of ramen noodles, and they got to last me all month. You can't. I know it's just a little box. How you make that work? Well, you put them ramen noodles in a pot and put some water in it or whatever you add to it. I don't know, because I don't really eat ramen noodles. So you stir it up and you eat it. Then after you eat it, you got to sit around a while and wait. Sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it don't. What you got to do when you feel the urge, you got to run to the bathroom. And you got to reach back there and catch them ramen noodles when they come out. Put them back in the pot again. Might want to add a little bit of extra spices the second time around. Stir that shit up. Pardon my French, but it technically is at this point. You stir that up, and you commence eating that a second time, which is pretty bad. It's not as bad as it is once it gets to the fourth or fifth round of that whole evolutionary tale, so to speak. You know what I mean? After about 5 rounds of pooping and eating ramen noodles, it just give you the runs to think about it, y'all. I tell you. It's a rough, hard life. I live up here in Atlanta, Georgia. Dangerous place to live. A lot of traffic. Traffic is bad. We ain't even going to talk about traffic today. That's a whole other subject. Let's talk about how dangerous it is. What you don't do in Atlanta, you don't go to the gas station after night unless you won't wind up with a bullet lodged in your head. Because there's a lot of people just go to the gas station just to have a shooting. That's what we do in Atlanta. I stay home. I always gas up my vehicles in the daylight. Don't usually happen in the daytime. Whatever, it happens at night. The other day, I was down at the gas station and it was getting close to darkness, but it wasn't. The sun was still, he's peeking up over the ridge over there. And these two fellas, they started out a friendly conversation. A minute or two later, they was kind of bowing up at each other. And then they was hollering and screaming and waving pistols and such. Next thing you know, somebody called the police. It was the cops got there and they said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Mr. Officer, I seen the whole thing. I seen it all. I seen the whole thing." A policeman come over there and he talked to me, and they more cops there by this point. They separated these two fellas, and them two fellas was still eyeballing each other. And the first policeman, he asked me, he said, what happened here? And I said, well, these guys was just talking. It didn't sound like no big deal to me. And then one of them, their first guy, he done up and said something about this other guy's mama. Oh, And the policeman said, what did he say? And I said, well, I don't know if I want to say that about somebody's mama. He was talking about how fat his mama was. And the people out there in TV land watching this here little show and stuff, y'all probably saying, how fat was she? Well, I'm going to tell you. That first guy said this, not me, because I would never tell you nothing about somebody's mama. That just ain't nice or polite. You can't really joke about stuff like that anymore. But the first guy, he say, your mama is so fat, she live in 2 different zip codes, one on each cheek of her ass. Oh, that riled up the second one, I tell you what. It's kind of funny, but it riled up the second one. And the second one, he was like, he had to think about that a minute. He said, well, I can shoot him. I can go over there and get in a fight, and he might beat me up because he's a little bit bigger. Or I could just say something about his mama. So that's when the second guy, he come back with, your mama is so fat. And this is where y'all participating out there in TV land on the internet and the YouTube stuff and all that. This is where y'all say, how fat is she? Well, let me tell you, my hairpiece is making my head itch a little bit, but I'm okay. Where was I? How fat is she? And then the second guy, he goes on and he says, your mama's so fat, she went outside one day wearing a big yellow dress, big wavy dress. It was a windy day. The wind was blowing her dress around. There's about 10 or 15 of the Japanese tourist type folks. You know how they snapping pictures and stuff all the time? Anyway, and I'm not profiling or nothing here, but that's just the way you could say Japanese tourists, because we used to, do that. They was a big group of Japanese fellas, okay? Nice gentlemen, nothing against them, but they was like 10 or 15 of them. The wind blows up her dress. They thought it was a cab. They run up under that, where the wind blowed up, run up under the backside of her dress. Woo! Let me tell you what, them fellas, it took them a second or two for the wind blow to come back out. They come running back out. They was all screaming, Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla. And the first guy, he say, you saying my mama looked like Godzilla? He said, no, they was saying Godzilla because they wanted Godzilla to step on them so they could wash away the memories of what they just seen up that woman's dress. That's how fat she is. Woo! Tell you what. Woo, I got to go watch me some TV later. I got me one. I watch this stuff like y'all watching on the TV. I don't flip and scroll. You know how y'all like to flip and scroll? Usually on my stuff, y'all watch it for like 10 seconds and such, and then you go on to something else. Well, I watch them all the way through is what I do. I got me a 65-inch TV, and I tell my wife all the time, I said, I need one a little bigger. I need 10 more inches. My wife, she say, what she say? My wife says every man ever. What? I said I need 10 more inches of TV. I need 10 more inches is what I say. And she says every man ever. I said, it's cause I can't see, woman. I'm old. Can't you see how old I am? Look at here. I ain't cut my hair in 20 years. And sometimes I wish I had 20 more inches. And then my wife says every man ever. But I told her to just go somewhere else for Christmas. That's why I'm here home alone doing this crazy, silly stuff. Because they all got mad and left me. Her and her daughter, they took off for Christmas to go spend it somewhere else. Left me with the cat and the dog. What is that cat getting into around here? I'm usually babysitting the cat and the dog. That's what I'm here for. Comic relief for the cat and the dog, y'all. Whew. But you can't make funnies about nobody anymore. You just can't. People will shoot you for trying to make a joke. Nobody can take a joke no more. I don't understand what that is. But I do appreciate y'all for stopping by and checking in on me. Rinky Dink. Signing off. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all like my Pink Floyd shirt? You see my Pink Floyd shirt? Yeah, I like Pink Floyd. But, that's, I got to cook myself a ham here in a minute, so I guess we're gonna have to wrap this little comedy show up pretty darn quick. Y'all have yourself a Merry Christmas, and, Happy New Year and all that other such stuff. See y'all.